Mic check 1 2 3. Mic check 1 2 3. I guess I should be loud and clear. My audio avatar is quivering, so I would presume my voice is transmitting loud and clear. And let's switch on the camera. Oh yeah, right. All right. Okay, let me adjust the camera first before we begin. So right. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, brothers and sisters in Islam. Welcome to another live stream from your favorite Muslim Apologist channel, The Muslim Apologist. And I'm your host, MENJ. Yes. And yeah, so today, I guess the topic is obvious because we have seen the events of last Saturday. It was very surprising to say the least. Yes, it's actually something that I had hoped would happen for a long time, but it did not happen until last Saturday, right? And I thought it would not happen even during my lifetime, but I guess we are living in exciting times, so to speak. And yeah, the bullet has decided to stand up to the bully. So that is why we saw what happened uh, last Saturday. All right. So yeah, I think by now everyone would know what has happened in Occupied Yeah, all right. So I'm back again. Sorry for that. Um, Having a bit of an internet connection issue here. But regardless, hey, I mean, I'm back, and yeah, we are going to talk about Palestine and what has actually happened to lead to the circumstance that we saw last Saturday. Because you see, it did not happen in a vacuum. It is not something that Palestinians woke up one day and say, "Hey, I want to, form an army called Al-Qassam and arm ourselves and just go across the border into Israel, right? So I personally do not recognize the existence of Israel. Okay, I don't believe that Israel has the right to exist because it never had that in the first place, and my country too does not recognize Israel. So I'm totally within legal bounds to say so. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, it's actually a crime to say that Israel is an illegal state in Western nations. You can correct me if I'm wrong. But in Malaysia, there's no issue whatsoever to say this because we in Malaysia know that Israel is an illegal state, and we will never recognize the existence of Israel. Okay, so the thing that Israeli leaders have been begging all this while, the right to exist, the right to exist. Well, this is something that we Malaysians have refused them. Okay, that is why an Israeli will not be able to enter Malaysia with their passport, okay, because we don't recognize their existence at all. So in any case, before I continue, as usual, I guess cue in intro. Very much um, you know um, for your willingness to be here. So right now the stream has been running for about 6 minutes, and we have a total number of one viewer watching this live stream. Okay, but it's fine. I actually did not expect anyone to watch it, but hey, I mean that's fine as well because this recording will of course be available to everyone after the live stream, right? So it doesn't really matter. I'm gonna read the comments here. Let me see now. Brother Sydney Football. Yes, Palestine. Yep, yep. Of course, Palestine. Viva Palestina. Ah, Brian is here. Hi, Brian. I think I'm the first to notice that if Muhammad took the night journey to the Temple Mount, he didn't notice the final. I've already answered this, right? This is a metaphysical incident. It's something that is miraculous. And no, you're not the first to notice this, okay? Muslim scholars have discussed this, okay, for centuries, okay? Yeah, everyone has pretty much attested to the fact that the Isra wal Mi'raj was a metaphysical event that no human. It was a physical event for the prophet, but circumstances around it is shrouded in mystery, and we have no real answer to it because it's a miraculous event. All right, so you can't explain it via science. I mean, how do you explain the burak? Okay, the animal that brought the prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam from Makkah, from Mecca. Was it from Mecca to Medina? Not from Mecca to Medina, from Mecca to Jerusalem, and from Jerusalem to the highest heavens. Okay, so this is something you cannot explain via historical or scientific means because this is something metaphysical. All right. Okay, so it's pretty much it. Next comment. No country has the right to exist. Are you kidding me? Dude, are you sure you're not on drugs or something? Why did Hamas behead infants? I think we have addressed this. Okay, the story is false. Many other Muslim YouTubers have also addressed this. Okay, there's no evidence of Hamas fighters or basically the military wing, the Al-Qassam brigades personnel going into Israeli homes or the illegal settlers' homes and behead infants. There's absolutely no evidence for this, except for the alleged testimony from one journalist who alluded to it in a report, in a news report. And I saw the report. It was from an Israeli TV station, news station, and eventually it was retracted by the very same journalist. So there's no evidence whatsoever of the Al-Qassam Brigade's personnel beheading anyone, okay, or even infants for that matter. All right, so it's a lie. Okay, it did not happen at all. It's a fantasy concocted by Israel to demonize and to to make out the Palestinians as though as they are barbaric savages, and to give them the pretext to carpet bomb Gaza to the Stone Ages, which I believe, unfortunately, Gaza has pretty much become that because of the current situation that they are currently experiencing. All right, so yeah, it's a lie. Okay, it's pretty much a lie, and it did not happen. Okay, free Palestine, free Palestine. Of course, there was this um, demonstration in Kuala Lumpur in KL earlier. I did not go. I did not attend the demonstration. All right, but yeah, there was a demonstration, and yeah, there was, of course, people protesting in front of the American embassy because we all know uh, how the Americans are such good friends with Israel, and yeah, so there was a demonstration in front of the American embassy in Kuala Lumpur in KL, and yeah, of course, the usual, effigy burning and flag burning. Okay, of course, the Israeli flag got burned. Okay, wonderful. What I wish I was there in person, but I could not be there because of my job. So I was working in the midday, so it's not possible for me to travel all the way to the city center because I work in the outskirts of Kuala Lumpur. So from my office to the place of the demonstrations is about 1.5 hours to travel there, and I didn't even have a transport. I was commuting via MRT, so it was not possible for me to travel to the place of where the demonstration took place, right? But in any case, I saw some photos of it. I was going to share it, but I can't seem to find the report. Unfortunately, I can't find the report of these demonstrations taking place in Kuala Lumpur, in KL. If I can't find it, then it's too bad. You won't be able to see the photos of the demonstrations, right? So yeah, it's mostly because today the prime minister or the who's also the finance minister of Malaysia, he presented the budget, okay, the national budget for 2024 in Parliament today. So that news has pretty much dominated the mainstream media here in Malaysia. So the particular news report of that that demonstration in front of the U.S. embassy with regards to the Palestinian the demonstrations for Gaza or for Palestine, I cannot find it here because he has been overwhelmed by the budget, by the news stories of the budget 2024. So oh well. I guess you won't be able to see it. And seems to me that there are some activity in the chat. Oh, okay. Let me see. If evidence comes out, will you say sorry? I wouldn't be saying sorry because I know there will be no evidence whatsoever. Okay. Basically, the Israelis concocted the story out of their ass. Okay, by claiming that Hamas loves to behead little children or babies, which is totally untrue. Okay, it's a false story, man. There's nothing to defend. There's nothing to apologize for because it's false. It's a false story. Okay, there's no evidence whatsoever, and there are so many Muslim YouTubers, and I even saw a Muslim news outlet explaining about exposing this false news, right? This fake news, okay, demonizing the Palestinians. Okay, so anyway, one of the reasons why I've come online is basically to read out passages from this book. Yes, oops, is the camera clear? I'm going to have to change the settings. Hang on, I'm going to have to change the settings of the background because it's obscuring my book. Yeah, sorry for the ugly bed. But anyways, yeah. So I am going to read passages from this book. This is actually the book that has pretty much shaped my opinion on Palestine. So this is Islam and the Problem of Israel by Al-Mahum Isma'il Raji al-Faruqi, whom I regard to be my teacher and Maulana. Okay, so he's the person. Al-Mahum Isma'il Faruqi is the person who has pretty much shaped my Islamist worldview, and I'm pretty much guided by his writings. Okay, so yeah. So I'm going to read a passage from chapter 1. All right. So don't worry, I will be reading the whole book, but not all of it, right? Because it's a very small book. All right. So I'll just read from the important points. So chapter 1, right? A historical preview. Okay. So Dr. Faruqi says the problem of Israel confronting the Muslim world today has neither precedent nor parallel in Islamic history. The Muslim world has tended to regard it as another instance of modern colonialism, or at best, a repetition of the Crusades. The difference is that it's not that Israel is neither one of these. Okay, so Dr. Faruqi is saying that it's not that Israel is not modern colonialism, or that it's not the Crusades. And Dr. Faruqi continues, but that it is both. It is both, and more, much more. Right. So Dr. Faruqi right now, Al-Mahum Ismail Faruqi is actually saying that Israel is not just modern colonialism, it is also the Crusades. It's a repetition of the Crusades, and it is also much more. It's much more than just simply that. All right. Unfortunately, okay, says Dr. Faruqi, there is no Islamic literature on the subject. Oh, by the way, keep in mind that this book was written in 1980. All right. This book was written about 30, 40, more than 40 years ago. Okay, and it's still relevant today. Imagine this. He wrote this book in 1980. He passed away. He became a Shahid in 1986. He died 6 years later. And today in 2023, I'm still reading passages from this book, and I'm amazed at how accurate this book is, even though it was 40 years ago since he last wrote this, right? More than 40 years ago, in fact. Okay. All right. So let me see now. Unfortunately, there is no Islamic literature on the subject, and there still isn't. Actually, there's not many. I think since the publication of this book, there are actually a lot more, but it's still very obscure. All right. The need for this analysis of the problem is therefore as great as the present moment, which calls upon the Arab world in particular and the Muslim world in general to accept Israel as an integral member of a world of Muslims nation in Asia, Africa. So I'm going to just read this a bit more, and then we're going to analyze uh, passage, and we're going to continue reading the other chapters. Right? The problem of Israel is a three-cornered affair involving the Muslim world, Western Christendom, and the Jews. The first two have been locked in struggle ever since the rise of the Islamic State in Medina in 622 AD. Indeed, even earlier, Christian commercial interests had pushed Abyssinia into launching a colonialist venture in South Arabia in 560 CE, and an attempt to destroy the power of Mecca in the year of the elephant, or 570 CE, the year of the birth of the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Even as early as that time, Western Christendom saw fit to use the religious zeal of Eastern Christians in order to exploit both them and the pre-Islamic Arabs for commercial benefit. Yeah, I know my video feed is cutting out a bit, right? But don't worry about that. I'll just continue reading. Pre-Islamic Arabia was a religious vacuum at the time, and the Christians of the West who held the reins of power in their hand were not concerned with preaching the faith. Rather, they were immersed in political struggles on the internal front and the economic and military struggle on the external. Arabia had no significance for them except as a trade route. When the new Islamic State began to raise its head following the integration of Mecca and most of the tribes of the Western and South Arabia, Byzantium saw fit to mobilize its puppet armies in South Palestine and Jordan, a move which brought about the first military encounter between Islam and Christendom, the campaign of Mu'tah, which happened in 631 CE. All right. So anyway, Dr. Faruqi talks about the history of Christendom and its interaction with Islam. And then okay, now part B. All right. So that was part A. Now it's part B. Western interests and the Near East. The problem of Israel is inextricably linked to this 14th centuries old struggle between the Muslim world and Christendom. Now he's talking about Balfour. When Balfour made his nefarious declaration in 1918, he was continuing an old tradition which sought to rule by dividing the ruled, and to implant in the area a foreign body doomed to remain at odds with the rest. In short, to apply the principle of divide et impero. When the route to India and the Far East went around Africa, colonies at the Cape of Good Hope, the east coast of Africa, Aden, the littoral of the Arabian Peninsula were necessary to safeguard that route. Opening of the Suez Canal made it necessary for Britain to occupy Egypt, to plan to neutralize Arabia and wrest the eastern coast of the Mediterranean, which is basically the Levant, okay, Palestine, Jordan, Syria, and Lebanon, from the Muslim control, okay, which was under the Ottomans at the time, okay. So basically, one of the reasons Oh, sorry about that. Okay. Anyway, so Dr. Faruqi is explaining that one of the reasons reasons why Balfour made his nefarious declaration in 1918, basically to declare that the British government had no problems with the establishment of a Zionist state in Palestine, was because of this Yes, so one of the reasons why Balfour did what he did was because of this, previous encounter with Islam. The Christian encounter with Islam, and yes, he was continuing the tradition of colonialism in Arabia. All right, so yeah, so Dr. Faruqi again in his book Part C, he talks about Zionism. So these are the questions which Dr. Faruqi asked. What is the nature of Zionism? What is its history? What is the internal force which has kept it alive? What is the nature of its appeal to the mind of the Western Jew, of the Western Christian? If Judaism is old and Zionism very new, how do they differ? And what is their relation to each other? Why did Zionism insist on having a state, Israel? Why did the state of Israel behave as it did towards its neighbors? Must Israel always remain a Zionist state? How does the advent of the state of Israel look from the standpoint of Islam? How is the ideological war between Israel and the Muslim world to be treated? What is Islam's verdict today concerning Israel? May it be recognized under the term of the Sharia? What changes or conditions need to be instituted in order to make such recognition legitimate? Is the secular Palestinian state the Islamic answer to the problem of Israel? Suppose the whole machinery of the state of Israel were dismantled. What would Islam replace it with? How would Islamic constitutional law, under the circumstances, regulate future Muslim-Jewish relations? These and other questions are the subject of the present work. So yeah, so I've just finished reading chapter 1, which is quite long, but I've pretty much cut across, the points to just show the points made. Okay, so I'm not obviously I can't read the whole book. It's going to take one whole night if I were to do it. But what I do want to do is that I want to read certain passages or certain paragraphs from this work here, Islamic. And I do recommend, by the way, for you to get a copy of it, okay? Because I believe that Al-Mahum Faruqi, he was a genius. Okay, he was a genius. Considering that he wrote this in 1980, he was way ahead of his time. Okay, the way his writings work, how articulate he is, how deeply he understood the situation, because he himself was a Palestinian refugee, by the way. So a brief background on Dr. Faruqi. He's a Palestinian by birth, okay, and during the An-Nakba, he was actually the administrator of one of the cities in what we now know as Israel, in the Occupied Palestinian Territories. I think it was in Haifa, and because of the Nakba, he had to leave Palestine, and he moved to America. So he's a scholar. He was a scholar who taught comparative religions, and he actually has written a book on Christianity. I actually have that book there over there, but that won't be the subject of our topic for now. All right. So he has written a lot of books on Islam and Christianity. Okay, he's way above the pay grade of Ahmad Didat. With all due respect to Sheikh Ahmad Didat, I personally think that Al-Mahum Faruqi is underrated, and I feel that Al-Mahum Faruqi should be given more recognition for his work, especially in comparative religion, and especially with regards to his apologetics work against Christianity, because his book against Christianity is amazing, right? It's way beyond anyone's thinking, all right? So anyway, I'm going to read chapter 10 from this book. Islam, it goes right at the heart of the matter. So of course, prior to that, he actually described Zionism, the history of Zionism. How did Zionism rose in the middle of Europe. So to cut a very long story short, Zionism is a secular ideology which Theodor Herzl, and several others conspired together to develop. Yes, according to Dr. Faruqi, Zionism has absolutely nothing to do with. Oops. Yeah, okay, sorry about that. Anyway, according to Al-Mahum Faruqi, Zionism has absolutely nothing to do with okay. In fact, in this work, Dr. Faruqi showed his utmost respect for Judaism, the religion, but not to Zionism. So I'm just going to read just one last thing before I go to the comments. All right. So I'm going to read the chapter 10 of his book here, Islam and Zionism. So he answers the question: what is the position of Islam concerning Zionism? Right, the politics, the faith, and their achievements today. Keep in mind that this was written in 1980. Right. We have seen that Zionism, the politics, is an exercise in political power designed to transform Palestine and its adjacent territories into a Jewish state, as Jewish as England is English. Zionism's pursuit of this objective is thoroughly Machiavellian. Yeah, I think it's amazing that he wrote this in 1980 and we actually see the fruits of this. Okay, its single-minded purpose is given absolute priority over all considerations, including the moral. Prior to 1948, it sought to fulfill its purpose first by bribing and then by threatening the Sultan of the Ottoman state, of which Palestine was a part. When this failed, it began to work for the destruction of the Ottoman state and put its forces at the service of its enemies. The prime enemy of the Ottoman state was the British Empire. Zionism deployed all its powers, financial through Baron de Rothschild and strategic science through Chaim Weizmann, to extract from the British government the Balfour Declaration, in which the British government pledged its support to the Zionist cause, though it had already pledged to the Arabs freedom and unity of all territories evacuated by Ottoman forces. Having obtained the Balfour Declaration, Zionism played its power to the hilt to acquire land. It stopped at nothing in this effort, including the application of pressure, blackmail, bribery, speculation, and, as we have seen, forced eviction of Palestinian farmers from lands which they had inherited from their ancestors through the millennia. Zionism wanted the land at any price, but by 1948, it got about 3% of Palestine through all means, moral and immoral. Equally, Zionism sought to extract the Jews of Europe and settle them in Palestine. Yeah, keep in mind that the Jews of Israel today, they are not from the Middle East, they're from Europe. Okay. To this end, it used indoctrination and bargain with fascists and other governments. Its strategy was not to save all Jewish lives, but only those that could serve its purpose of military occupation and agricultural colonization of Palestine. It was after 1948 that Zionism uncovered its nature and began to operate in the open. Dr. Faruqi is amazing, mashallah, subhanallah. Its plan was to empty Palestine. We are actually seeing this right now. Its plan was to empty Palestine of its native inhabitants and to occupy their lands, farms, homes, and all movable properties. In doing so, Zionism was guilty of naked robbery by force of arms, of wanton, indiscriminate slaughter of men, women, and children, of destruction of men's lives and properties. In order to obtain the human resources necessary to complete the plan, Zionism undermined the Jewish communities of the whole world. In the Arab world, where uprooting the Jewish communities would provide argument presenting the emptying of Palestine of its inhabitants as one half of a population exchange. Let's not forget Operation Magic Carpet, right? For where the Yemeni Jews were forcibly transported by the Israeli government to occupy Palestinian land. Yeah, there's this operation called Operation Magic Carpet, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And there was also an operation to move all the Jews of Baghdad in Iraq to Palestine. Yeah, to Palestine as well. Okay. All right. So Zionist action was brutal. Zionism terrorized Arab Jews by bombing their synagogues, destroying their businesses, and assassinating their questioning. Oh dear, okay, sorry about that. Saying, okay, my internet is a bit funky. I was saying that Zionism terrorized Arab Jews by bombing their synagogues, destroying their businesses, and assassinating their questioning or reluctant leaders. In its occupation of Palestine since 1948, Zionism had perpetrated immeasurable injustice against the Palestinians who have survived its onslaught and remained in their homes. Internationally, the Zionist state has, since its establishment in 1948, terrorized the whole region, and even until today, 2023, right? Massacred the innocents by the thousands, yeah, Deir Yassin. Destroyed innumerable villages, and drain the resources and energies of a whole generation of 100 million awakening Arabs on futile wars which it imposed upon them. So this is the injustice of Zionism and the cruelty and evils of Zionism. So Dr. Faruqi actually discusses it in real detail, and I don't think we are going to spend too much time on this because yeah, my internet is a bit funky, so I want to interact with my audience. But basically, what Dr. Faruqi is saying is that Zionism is a failed project and it's an evil ideology. So I do advise you to get this book, inshallah, right? So if you want a copy, I can help you obtain it, by the way. Or maybe, I can just make a photocopy of this and send it to you if you so wish. But you can contact me through my email, all right? And I'll try to get a copy of show. Okay, so yeah, so right now the stream has been running for about 35 minutes, and right now we have 3 viewers. Okay, I think previously there were 9 viewers. At one point when I was reading this, I saw that I had 9 viewers, but it has dropped to 3, probably because of the internet connection. All right, so wow, there's a lot of people commenting right now. Wow, okay. Hi guys. Let me see now. Casual Lads FC, Palestine. Yep, that's right. Dawa over Dunya fan channel. Free Palestine. Yep. Nice bedroom. It's the same bedroom that I've always been live streaming from for the past several months. Okay. Yep. Free Palestine. Free Palestine. Sister Rahima. Free Palestine. Right. Okay. No Jews, no Israel, no war. Basically, no Zionism. I would change that to no Zionism, no Israel, then no war. Okay? Yeah. The Prophet ﷺ said, this is a hadith from Ibn Majah and Nasai. The Prophet ﷺ said, whoever fights under a banner of folly supporting tribalism, which is basically what Zionism is, or getting angry for the sake of tribalism, he dies in a state of ignorance. Yeah, mashallah. That's amazing. Brother Naf. Walaikum salam warahmatullah. Sorry for the internet connection right now, right? Oh, brother Umar ibn brother Elias quick. Umar ibn al-Khattab said, if people start calling each other by their tribes, then strike them with a sword until they start calling each other by Islam. Yep, exactly. Exactly. Brother Elias again. He is not one of us who calls to tribalism. He is not one of us who fights for the sake of tribalism. He is not one of us who dies following the ways of tribalism. Exactly. Exactly. All right. Right. Okay. Okay. Brian here is saying, so all Israelis need to do is to convert to Islam, and you won't care what they do to Palestinians. That's not the point, man. It's not about them just converting to Islam. Even if they convert to Islam, but they still uphold the ideology of Zionism, that still does not fly. They need to de-Zionize themselves. First of all, they need to de-Zionize themselves and realize that what they are doing is wrong, and they must return all the lands back to the Palestinians. That's pretty much it. Whether they convert to Islam or not, they revert to Islam, that's secondary. That's not the issue. I mean, even if they do suddenly decide what to one day wake up and say, "Hey, we want to convert to Islam so that the Arabs won't attack us," and suddenly they all suddenly became Muslims, but they still believe in the idea that, oh, this is our land, Israel belongs to us because it's mentioned in the previous scriptures. Therefore, we are still going to hold on to this land. And no, it does not fly. Even if they have become Muslims, but they still believe in the ideology of Zionism, it still doesn't work, because what we Muslims are against is not because that they are Jews. We are against them because they are Zionists. Yeah. So we are against Zionism. We are not against the Jews. I think we should make that clear. I should have made that clear right from the start. I personally have no problems with Jews or Judaism. In fact, I do view Judaism in a way more favorably than I do Christianity, because even though Christianity is closer to Islam, but when it comes to the concept of Tawheed, the Jews and the Muslims share the same belief that God can never come down to earth incarnated as a man. Okay, so in that sense, I find affinity with the Jews on that note. However, I do oppose them, and I think they won't agree with me on this, and they will fight me over this with regards to the idea of Zionism, or that the idea that the historical Palestine, or what we now know today as Israel, the illegal state of Israel, um, belongs to them, simply because God says so, which I will never agree to. Right? So Ashley Keso, sorry, yeah, I'm having some funky moments with my internet. All right, so I do apologize in advance if you find my internet to be stuttering and not as smooth as it should be. All right. Ashley Keso, I'm Polish and I stand with Palestine. Good for you. Thank you. Thank you for supporting Palestine. JD, Palestine. Yes, Palestine. Oops. What if Israelis become Muslim and Palestinians become Zionists? Whom will you support? If the Israelis de-Zionize themselves and they truly become Muslims, and the Palestinians become Zionists in the process for some reason, which I wouldn't understand why, but hey, let's say that really happened, then I will support the Israelis. Yeah, because they are Muslims, okay, and they are being oppressed by the oops. Oops, yeah, sorry about that. So hypothetically, I would support the other side, which is the Zionist, okay? But I don't think this is going to happen in 1,000 years. It will never happen, right? So it's no use talking about that. But basically, what I would encourage all of you to do is to get this book. So, all right? Okay. Okay, what's with the weird questions, Brian? If you had to pick Christianity, Judaism, I guess you mean, or atheism, and there's no Islam, you had to pick one. Which one? I'll pick Judaism. Okay, without a doubt, I'll pick Judaism. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, that's just hypothetical, isn't it? Because we are already blessed with Islam, so I guess there's just. Why would Palestinians support the occupier? Exactly, I know. I mean, it's just a hypothetical question, isn't it? So yeah, so that's just the point. I mean, I'm talking about ideologies right now. It's not about anything that's currently happening in the real world. We of course know that this will never happen, right? The Jews, the Zionists will always, be Zionists, and the Palestinians, inshallah, will always remain under the banner of Islam, inshallah. So, wow. Right now, I have 8 viewers watching this live stream, mashallah, and the live stream has been going on for the past 42 minutes. Not bad at all. Thank you very much for supporting this channel, right? I do appreciate your coming here, right? So, yeah, not sure what else to discuss. Okay, I mean, I could read the whole book, but for some of you, and also because my internet is really funky at the moment, I don't know whether I will be able to read one chapter before going offline, for even though it's just a few seconds, but it will interrupt the reading, right? So anyways, long story short, Islam does not recognize the existence of Israel. Islam does not recognize Zionism. In fact, according to Dr. Faruqi, if you read Dr. Faruqi's solution to the problem, it's quite okay. It's quite far. I guess you could say that it's ahead of its time, and I don't think Dr. Faruqi's plan or Dr. Faruqi's proposal is something that could be implemented at the moment. Okay, but basically he's promoting, or he's for the idea of a one-state solution under the banner of Islam, under the Caliphate, under the Sharia. Okay, so that is the that is his conclusion in this book. Yeah, this book, right? Wow, 9 viewers right now, mashallah. Better Sydney Football TV. Oh no, my internet is giving me up. Just talk about how the media shields the Israeli occupation. Yep, exactly. Okay, so I think we can talk about that a bit. So you see, in Malaysia, I think we in Malaysia, we are actually quite blessed, because we are actually shielded from the Zionist lies out there. Of course, unfortunately, those who are exposed to Western media, they are not so lucky, because they get biased news about about the Palestinians, and of course, high praises and overwhelming support for the occupiers. Okay, the Zionists, the Israelis. Okay, so in Malaysia, let me tell you a bit about how Malaysia views the Palestinian issue, the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, because you see that the situation that the Palestinians face today it's not similar, but it's almost the same as how Malaya, or the Muslims here, experienced when we had to face the British in their plans to colonize us. Okay, so prior to it was around the same time as the establishment of Israel, ironically. So prior to I'm talking about Malayan history, right? Malaysia, before the establishment of Malaysia, there was the Federation of Malaya. All right. So before I think it was in 1947. Okay, sorry, 1946. In 1946, okay, the British, after having come here, after they were given a bloody nose by the Japanese during World War II, and they had to leave the Malaya and Singapore. They were defeated in the battle for Malaya and Singapore, the Malayan campaign, okay, by the Japanese, who, by the way, invaded from the north via Thailand on bicycles. Okay, the Japanese army, the Imperial Japanese Army, invaded Malaya and then Singapore by bicycles. Would you believe it? And they defeated Britain, okay, who was, well, they were colonizing Malaya, right, at the time. Well, they're not really colonizing in a sense that they controlled the whole structure, but they were there. Their presence was there, right? So, long story short, after the Japanese were defeated during World War II, the British came back. And in 1946, someone in the Home Office in London had this great idea of wanting to rule Malaya, the whole of the peninsula, from the northern state of Perlis right up until the southern state of Johor, via no, but basically through direct rule from the Home Office, from the Foreign Office in London. Okay, but at the time, the Federation of Malaya was divided into three constituents. First was the crown colonies or the strait settlements, okay, which were directly under British rule. Okay, basically it was Singapore, Penang, and Malacca, the state of Malacca. The second constituent was the Federated Malay States. So the Federated Malay States, they were not independent. The leadership was still under the sultan, the respective sultans. However, they had to take in a British resident, and this British resident had the political power to advise the sultan to do what he wants the sultan to do, and the sultan cannot do anything about it because his powers are tied to the resident, to the British resident. Okay, so this is the second constituent called the Federated Malay States, and then there's this third constituent called the Unfederated Malay States, which basically had a British resident, but they were not bound by the decisions of the British residents, so they can pretty much do whatever they want. However, they need to have a British resident in the palace. Okay, so these are the three entities at a time in 1946. So the Home Office in Britain wanted to consolidate all this into one unity called Malayan Union. So this involved basically abolishing the powers of the sultans. Okay, so this is pretty much similar to what happened in Palestine yeah. So this is pretty much what similar to what happened in Palestine. So because of this plan to establish Malayan Union uh, from as a direct rule from London, so this caused the Malays to become upset. The Malayan Muslims to become very upset. And yes, so long story short, we basically, well, we didn't really fight in that sense. We had demonstrations. We went against the British overlords. And long story short, we got our independence, okay, because of our struggles. Although we did not, I guess fortunately for us, we did not need to shed even a single drop of blood for our independence, because um, I think you could say that we negotiated our way through independence. Okay, so however, what we experienced during this period was very it was very impactful on us, on our history. So when we see, so going back to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, when we see what the Palestinians had to face, we remember the tragedy or the struggles of Malayan Union. So that was a very tough time period for us in our history, and that is why we sympathize with the Palestinians, and until today we do support and fully endorse the establishment of the state of Palestine with absolute certainty. All right, and we will never back down from this. We will give our 100% support to the establishment of Palestine. Okay. Of course, there's this official statement saying that we want a two-state solution. Personally, I don't want a two-state solution. Personally, I want things to go back to 1948, before 1948. Sorry. So I don't believe in the idea of establishing a Palestinian state with the 1967 borders. Okay, I have my reasons as to why I say so. I believe that Palestine must be established with the 1947 borders, within the 1947 borders. Okay, that is my position. Okay, but I think that discussion would be for another day. All right. So I don't know why, but there's a lot of people watching right now. Thank you very much for coming onto the stream. Let me see. There's someone called Robert here. Palestine. Yep, Palestine. There's someone here called Nicholas. Uh, Yep, Palestine again. Yep. Okay. There's someone here called Justin Sanderson. Full support to Palestine. Thank you. Yeah, I know that the Irish are pretty much strong supporters of the Palestinian cause, and I do appreciate that. I do take note of this. Yeah. Have you heard of the fake 40 beheaded babies that the media fabricated? Yep, I have, and it's false, right? The whole story is false, and it's just ridiculous, right? It just doesn't make any absolute sense at all to claim that the Hamas fighters went into kibbutzes to behead babies, right? So there's basically no, without any evidence whatsoever. Number one, there's no evidence. Number two, it was just based off reporting, off the cuff remark from a reporter working for the Israeli news. Okay. Number three, we don't even know where this incident allegedly took place, and there's no photos. The only people who were reporting it were Israeli sources, which were eventually picked up by the mainstream media, the Western mainstream media, and it spread out throughout the world, right? So that's how bad it was, right? Have a good day. I got to work. All right, I'll see you around then. Adam, free Palestine from Canada. Thank you. Thank you. Freedom to Palestine. Thank you. Thank you. I do appreciate your support for Palestine. Why can't they live like us and again one gets along and change the name to something unbiased like United? No, the name will always be Palestine. If the Israelis of today want to come under this new state, this united state, then they are going to have to drop the name Israel, and they're going to have to be united together with the Palestinians and call this new state with 1947 borders Palestine. Okay, it will never be called Israel. Israel did not exist prior to 1948. Okay, it's a foreign entity, right? It's an illegal entity. Okay. All right. So the live stream has been going on for 54 minutes. Wow. Okay. And there are 5 people watching this live stream. At one point I saw there was 10. Right. So anyway, thank you very much for joining in. And are there any more comments? Okay, let me see now. Brother Sydney Football. Zionism is genocide. Zionism is terrorism. Zionism is the problem behind all problems in the world. I couldn't agree more. Right. So actually, Dr. Faruqi has pretty much explained that. Like, I mean, this book is just amazing, man. If you read this book, he really dissects the problem at the core. Okay, the problem of Zionism at its core. Okay, and no other scholar that I know of has done this until today. Dr. Faruqi has already done this in 1980. Right? Oh, language. Fuck Israel. Yeah, of course. No question about that. See now, how many people are watching? 6 people. All right, that's cool. That's awesome. Anyone else want to ask any questions? I mean, I'm opening the floor right now. If you want to ask any questions or you have anything you want to ask, I mean, it doesn't really have to be about Palestine. It can be about the channel itself. I'm open to answering those questions. Otherwise, I'm going to have to end the stream. Anyway, it's already 55 minutes and 56 minutes now. And yeah, there's 2 viewers watching this live stream. Okay, I think everyone. Oh, now it went up to 4 now. Okay, hey, it's good. That's good. And the audio, okay, quality is good now. All right, I think for some reason the quality has improved somewhat, but yeah, I mean, it has already been almost 1 hour. So I don't plan to live stream for more than 1 hour anyway. So, oh, brother Dao is here. MashaAllah. Assalamualaikum, brother. How are you? Save Palestine. Yes, of course. Of course. Of course. Yeah, great to see everyone here. Okay. Oops, you know what? I forgot to show something. There you are. All right. So, super chats are always welcome. Okay. If you want to show your support for Palestine, please give me a super chat. Now, I don't want to sound like a beggar, but hey, I mean, if you do want to help the channel, if you do appreciate my work, please do, give me a super chat just to show as a token of appreciation, right? Doesn't have to be, you know, uh, doesn't have to be a huge amount, right? TV above your bed, interesting location. Yeah, because that's the only place where I could actually put the TV. Number one. Number two is that my intention was to basically sit at this area here and play video games, watch it while watching the TV, and and yeah, I actually have. If you look at the left corner there, do you see that long dongly thing at the left, on the left here of the TV? That's my Mi TV stick. Okay, it's an Android TV stick where it connects to the internet and I can watch Netflix and YouTube on it. Okay, so unfortunately, because I've been very busy at work, I currently do not have the time to actually watch TV. Okay, watch any TV. So but yeah, I mean, eventually I will do that, right? I mean, that's the whole point of having the TV. Also, another reason why I have the TV there is because that Mi TV stick can actually display wallpaper. So if I were to switch on the Mi stick right now, you can actually see wallpapers coming out. I should have done that, right? But I kind of forgot that, to do that. Yeah. Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Have you started the Palestine channel yet? No, I have not, because I actually tried to do that in the afternoon after I spoke with you about it, and then it asked for my phone number to verify the account, and then when I inputted my phone number, it says that sorry, we won't be able to create a channel for you at this time. I think it's because that particular phone number has been overused. Okay, because I did use that phone number to create many other channels, so I think there's a limit to each phone number that you can use to the amount of channels that you can create, which is tied to the phone number that you use. So I actually do have another SIM card that I can use to create the channel with. However, you're going to have to give me some time to set it up, because the SIM card is still not set up yet, and I'm going to have to put it in the phone first, right? So yeah, give me some time to do this, and inshallah I will set it up very soon, right? Very nice setup, thank you. Right. Netflix supports Israel and promotes LGBT Muslims. Boycott them, bro. No, I'm sorry, I can't, because Netflix also has my favorite anime shows. Bleach, Mushoku Tensei, The Rising of the Shield Hero. It even has One Piece. So I'm sorry. I can't discard Netflix, because Netflix is like part of my entertainment lifestyle. Okay. But don't worry, I don't watch those LGBTQ or STUV stuff. All right. I only watch the anime in it. Okay. No more excuses. Sorry, what are you referring to? I don't know. Yeah, no worries, bro. Yep. Yeah, sure. Yeah. The sooner you start a channel, the more views and subscribers. Yeah, exactly. I know. Don't worry. I will definitely start the channel as soon as possible. I think probably tomorrow. Yeah, because it's already the weekend now here. Shouldn't be a problem, inshallah. Netflix has all the exactly. That's also another reason why I'm keeping my Netflix, because of all the Studio Ghibli films. It's quite good. I mean, with the exception of that stupid film called My Neighbor's Friend Tontoro. My neighbor, the stupid. I really hated that cartoon though. Although I don't understand why people like that furry creature, Tontoro. But I don't like it. Okay. With the exception of that particular film, the rest are good, right? Right. So that's pretty much what you know. Brother, supporting favorites or the program is supporting. Don't worry, I'm not supporting the agenda. I just want the anime stuff, right? Try another platform. I do have another platform and it's called Disney Plus, which is even worse, okay? But I have to keep Disney Plus because it has Loki, it has the secret event, the secret wars, and many series from the MCU. So unfortunately, I have to keep both. Yeah, Netflix and Disney Plus. That's not very good choices, right? But unfortunately, that's just how life is. Okay, but we're not here to promote Netflix and Disney Plus anyway. Okay. My favorite is my neighbors, the Yamadas. What's that? I never heard of it. There was a protest of Palestine today in Perth. I didn't go because I was with. Yeah, I understand. Don't worry. There was, like I mentioned earlier in the stream, there was a protest for Palestine in Kuala Lumpur, in downtown KL, in front of the US embassy, but I wasn't present. Right? Walt Disney was anti-Semitic. I think I've come across that allegation before, but I wasn't really sure whether it's true or false. In any case, doesn't matter. Okay, I mean he's entitled to his views. Of course, the poor dude has passed away now, but yeah, he's entitled to his views, right? So I mean, everyone's entitled to their opinion. Okay, we all have an opinion on something. Okay. And the live stream has been running for 1 hour, for 1 hour and 4 minutes. Wow, that's cool. Why not in front of the? We don't have an Israeli embassy. Key. I already mention we don't. Malaysia does not recognize the existence of Israel. We do not have any diplomatic relations with Israel. Okay, so there's no embassy or there's no embassy of the state of Israel here. However, we do have the embassy of the state of Palestine. Okay, yeah, we all entitled. I agree. Yeah, that motherfucker. Excuse my French. Yeah, that motherfucker is not entitled to any opinion at all. Okay, right. So yeah. Mm, mm. That's why I said pun. Oh, okay, it's a pun, right? Okay. Yeah. So anyway, we don't have an Israeli embassy, so there's no reason to. So there's no intention. There's no reason to demonstrate in front of the Israeli of an embassy that does not exist that we don't recognize. Okay. Yeah. So that's yeah. So the live stream has been going on for 1 hour and 5 minutes, and we have 6 viewers. Wow, 6 viewers watching the live stream. Thank you, 6 viewers, whoever you are, because we know that there are two brothers here, Brother Dawood and Brother Sydney Football. So -2, there are 4 unknown viewers whom I'm not aware of, right? But I do appreciate your coming here. Okay, if you support my channel, please do join the channel as a member. I do hope that you will subscribe as a paid member. Okay, it will help the channel greatly. And yes, as Brother Sydney Football had mentioned, I'm actually thinking or planning to start another channel on Palestine. Okay, because I don't want to mix the content about Palestine with my apologetics material, because this channel is supposed to be an apologetics channel. So I should be talking about Christianity, about Judaism, about the Bible, right? About the history, the historicity of the Bible, the textual criticisms about Paul, and this sort of things, right? And early Christianity, how the Trinity developed through the ages. I think lecture which I did last week, and which you can find on my live tab. Okay, I talked about the formation of the Trinity. So that this is pure apologetics material which I am actually supposed to be presenting here on the channel, not Palestine, but because the issue of Palestine is something very close to my heart, that is why I decided to actually do the live streaming right now about Palestine. But in the future, I might not be doing that here. I'll be doing that in the new channel, inshallah. Right. So on that new channel that I'm thinking of, I'm actually going to put in a lot of videos where you can see, unfortunately, you're going to see a lot of tragic incidences. Palestinians, carrying their dead child. Okay, there's this one video that I saw of a father carrying his daughter at a hospital and shouting and screaming. Okay, and shouting and screaming. He did not want to. He didn't seem. He was at the hospital asking for help for his daughter, but his daughter was already dead. You could see her in his arms. She was already dead. Inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi rajiun. But anyways, yeah, this is the kind of news or the kind of issues that I would be presenting on that other channel, not here. Okay, so this video would probably be one of my very few exceptions to the rule, because like I said, I don't want to because you see, this is important because it has everything to do with the YouTube algorithms. If YouTube algorithms get confused, and if they think that this channel is about Palestine, they're going to promote my video or my whole channel to a different audience from what I intend this channel to be for. Okay, so my intention is to basically to target this channel for Christians who are looking for information about the Bible or for the New Testament or for the early Christianity, etc., and for Muslims who are in doubt about their religion, and want to know more about apologetics. So these are my target audience, not, unfortunately, not Palestine, right? Not Palestine. So I cannot be having too many videos of Palestine here. Otherwise, my video will be shown to pro-Israelis, okay, for example, or pro-Palestinians, which is not exactly the audience I'm looking for. Okay, so I have no choice, or I need the wisest thing for me to do is to actually create another channel. Okay, so yeah, it's part of my. I'm a digital marketing specialist. Okay, so I know what I'm doing. In any case, yeah. So that's pretty much my take on it, right? So I will be creating that channel very soon, inshallah. Jordan Peterson is an appetite employee. Yes, that motherfucker Jordan Peterson. I really have no respect for him now after what he tweeted to that war criminal Benjamin Netanyahu. Okay, I don't think he deserves my respect anymore. Okay. I had thought that he would be reasonable. He would be a person to be reasoned with. But after that stunt that he pulled on Twitter, I decided that this guy is not worth it, man. He is an enemy of Islam and of Palestinians, without a doubt. Okay. All that time that we spent trying to do outreach to him to educate him about Islam, all that has now gone down the drain because the guy is an avowed Zionist. Okay. But the sini. Oops. Okay, I'm back again. Sorry about that. Anyways, brother Sydney, even if Malaysia didn't suffer from colonialism, you would still support Palestine passionately because you support your Muslim brother. Yep, I will. I personally, I would. Okay. I don't know if the country had been secular, would Malaysia still support the Palestinians? I don't have an answer to that. Okay, but if we had been less Islamized, probably we wouldn't care. Okay, honestly, unfortunately, we probably be like Turkey. We'd be like neither here nor there. But fortunately, because of the Islamization process in the 1980s, also because thanks to him as well, he was responsible for that as well. So because of that, Malaysia has now, become a staunch ally of the Palestinians and of the Palestinian cause especially. Okay. Inshallah, I always keep Palestine in our prayers. Inshallah. Gaza does not have electricity, water, or internet. They're completely isolated from the world. I think this is the plan of the Zionists, because they know that by isolating them from the world, then they can do whatever they want, and there's no one or nothing that can prevent them. Okay. I haven't seen the latest reports. I hope that there are international journalists who would still cover what's happening in Gaza. Maybe later after the live stream, I would check it out. But yeah, it's very unfortunate that what our brothers and sisters in the Gaza Strip are facing. Okay, I really hope that Hamas or the Al-Aqsa brigades know what they are doing, and that they will push on. Okay, they will continue the fight. Okay, militarily. I can see that the military execution they have done was brilliant, and it's if their goal is basically to march on to because you see right now they are coming in from the Gaza Strip right through the Negev Desert. Okay, so they're going, if the trajectory is correct, they are going to go straight towards Al Khalil or Hebron. Okay, if they do that, then in Hebron they will meet up with their teammates, with their group in Hebron, and then they can combine forces from there, and then they can march on right up north to the other cities in the West Bank. So I hope that's what they are doing, what they are planning to do. Because if they just stop in the middle of the desert, and then go back to Gaza, then then that execution of that amazing display that we saw on Saturday doesn't make any real doesn't really meet its objective. Okay, so I really hope that they will not stop here, and they will continue the campaign by pushing forward. Because if I were a military commander, that's what I would do, right? Turkish people support Palestine, so even if I don't know about that. Honestly, I don't know, because I don't see the Turks being as supportive of Palestine as we are. Okay, I mean, we are at the point of being overtly zealous about it. Okay, all right. So people are actually hanging Palestinian flags here. Okay, in support. So I don't see Turks doing that. Okay, even my wife actually painted her car. I think I showed this photo several weeks ago. This was before the incursion, obviously. But she painted her car, and I really don't know why, because I never asked her to do it. She painted her car with the Palestinian flag. Okay, at the top at the roof of her car, she got her car painted with the Israeli flag. With the Palestinian flag. Okay, don't ask me why she did that, because I did not ask her to do that. Okay, but yeah, I mean, we have always been staunch supporters of the Palestinian cause, partly because of our history, and also because of our connection to Islam, obviously. Okay, but if we were really secular like the Turks, I don't know. If we will be supporting Palestine as much as zealously as we do now. I mean, heck, we have so many NGOs supporting set up to support the Palestinian cause. Okay, in fact, there's this channel called Aqsa Sharif, which actually updates the Malaysian public. It's on YouTube. It's in the Malay language, by the way. Um, so there's this channel called Aqsa Sharif, which actually updates the Malaysian public about what's happening in Gaza and so on. Okay, and in the Palestinian West Bank also. So we actually have a very zealous interest in Palestine. Okay, and I don't think this would be possible if we were less Islamized. Okay, honestly speaking, I don't think so. Because if you look at our neighbors, they are not that zealous about it as we are. I mean, we are on the point of being fanatics, man. We are so very zealous about Palestine. We're almost being fanatical about it. I mean, I can say that I'm quite fanatical about it, but that's not because of the Malaysian situation, but it's basically because of this book, right? So yeah. Yeah, definitely not with the same passion, but you super less passionately. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it'll be much less than now. But yeah, but anyway, you have to be grateful that we are very passionate about this. All right. You have to be grateful about that, right? Yeah. Roka. This is a conspiracy theory that I've been coming across for the past few days actually. I'm going to address this, all right? So that's why I'm showing it, and I'm going to give my thoughts on it. The invasion into Israel was a false flag operation conducted by Mossad themselves in order to demonize the Palestinians, so that the world will give them the green light to commit genocide. No, I don't think the Mossad had anything to do with it. They were as surprised as we all were when Al-Aqsa brigades decided to crash into the wall, okay, into the wall surrounding Gaza and basically invade the Zionist settlements. Okay, so I don't think the Mossad had anything to do with it. In fact, for what I can tell, it is hurting Netanyahu's government politically. Okay, so many Israelis were upset about what has happened. Okay, and yes, of course, as we know, Israeli soldiers were killed by a group by a band of ragtag warriors. Okay, so imagine this: a group of ragtag warriors crashing into the party or into the bases of the one of the most powerful militaries in the Middle East and running riot for about 3 to 4 hours with the army not being able to do anything about it. Do you really think that this was planned? Because if this were planned, then I think the death count for the Israeli soldiers will be much less. But we are getting reports that 700 Israelis died in this incursion. Majority of them were, of course, Israeli soldiers. So no, I don't think it was planned by the Mossad, because if it were planned by the Mossad, I think that would be a stupid plan, because it's kind of like a harakiri. Okay, it's more like it's like causing more damage to yourself than actually achieving anything in the process. Of course, Israel being Israel, they took advantage of the situation by making the claim about the so-called beheading of 40 babies, which we all know that is false, but they use that as a pretext to invade Gaza. That's an unfortunate side effect, but I do not think and I do not believe for a second that Israel had planned this or Israel allowed it to happen. It was basically an intelligence collapse. Okay, basically the Israelis underestimated the will, the fighting spirit of in Malay we call it semangat. Okay, the semangat, the fighting spirit um of the Palestinians, of Hamas, especially of the Al-Aqsa brigades. Okay, so it's just a bit basically they underestimated. They were going off partying on a Jewish holiday, and you can see from how Hamas did their operations when they invaded the settlements, the Israeli bases, that they were well prepared, they were well trained. Okay, they knew where to maneuver. So there's no way the Mossad had anything to do with it. Personally, I think this kind of conspiracy theories does not do any justice to the fact that Hamas is well trained and totally capable of launching a military operation in the occupied territories. Okay, give them credit, man. I mean, give more credit to Hamas, all right? Because I don't believe that Hamas is as weak as people claim Hamas to be. All right. Okay. Brother Sydney football. Of course, I'm grateful. Love Malaysia. Yep. We love you too. We love you too. Unfortunately, my Palestinian flag is not here. I would have draped myself with the Palestinian flag. It's at the studio. Okay. The studio, as I mentioned before, many times before in past live streams, it's 10 minutes away. It's a 10 minutes away drive. So I don't feel inclined to drive all the way to the studio just to get a flag and then come back again. So maybe next time. All right. Who's this Hindu? Muslim is invader. No, Muslims are not invaders. Okay. It's the Zionists who are invaders. Okay. Um, Tell me since when Muslims entered Israel? Muslims were there before Israel began, you silly fool. Okay, right? Before the existence of Israel, it was called Palestine, and Palestine has always been there. Okay, before 1948. Okay, Israel is a colonialist settler colonialist entity which was created by the British in 1948. Prove it. Are you serious? Why don't you just read this book? Yeah, just go to a bookshop, ask for this title, read it yourself. All right. I don't have to prove anything to you. All right. You just need to learn how to read. Okay. If you have the ability to read and to learn and to understand, then just go get this book. I've already talked about this earlier in the live stream, so you missed the fun because I actually read some of the passages in the book. Okay, but I'm not going to read it again because we're going to close this live stream very soon. Okay. Anyways, okay, so anyone else send me your stream link. Why should I send you my stream link? I'm not opening this stream to anyone. I'm just here talking about my love and support for Palestine and Palestinians. Okay. Right. So if you want proof, you can just read this. You just go to a bookshop, ask for this book, and read it yourself. I don't have to, teach you how to read, do I? Okay. And if you want to come onto like any live stream that I have in the future, yeah, sure, you're most welcome to, but not today, right? Because right now it's 11:10 p.m. and I just got back from work and I'm actually planning to do something else after this, right? So yeah. Yeah, so I guess we're going to close the live stream very soon. The stream has been going on for 1 hour and 23 minutes, and we have 5 viewers. Mashallah. At one point, it was like 7 or 8 people, I think. Okay, next time you'll be sure. Yeah, sure. You're most welcome to come onto my live stream once if I do open it. Okay, and that won't be until I think that will be on Sunday. I usually do my live streams where I open the floor on Sundays. Okay, so I'm actually going to resume my weekly live streams again, where I invite people on and talk about Islam, to talk about comparative religion. Okay, and yeah, I'm going to start the Palestinian channel very soon, inshallah. It's going to be called TMA on something, the Muslim Apologist colons on something. Okay, so it's going to be under the brand name of the TMA because that's my brand. Okay. Jazakallah khair. Have a good night. Thank you, brother. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining me and listening to me babble for the past 1 hour or so, right? Walaikum salam wa rahmatullah. We can talk about Islam, which is full of no, there's no mistakes in Islam, but you are full of mistakes. Okay. So no, Islam is perfect and Islam has no mistakes because Islam is the true religion revealed by God. Okay. But yeah, if you have a problem with Islam, why don't you come onto my live streams later? Okay. But not today. Not today, because I really am tired from work, right? So yeah. Okay, so I guess that's pretty much it for now. Thank you very much for coming on to the live stream. So listening to me babble for the past 1 hour and 25 minutes is not an easy feat, I'm sure. But hey, I mean, I do appreciate your coming here. Okay. If you want to help me promote this channel, as usual, please do like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Okay. Of course, before I end the stream, I'm going to play my intermission video. So yeah, cue in intermission, I guess. Yeah. So thank you very much for coming onto the live stream and listening to me babble for the past 1 hour and 26 minutes. We were talking about the issue of Palestine, okay, the situation in Gaza, as well as discussing this book, okay, Islam and the Problem of Israel by Al-Marhum Isma'il Raji al-Faruqi. I do encourage you to get a copy of this and read the issues concerning it, okay. So any case, I'm actually feeling a bit exhausted. So yeah, excuse me for for my if I do sound a bit weary and all, because I really am a bit exhausted. Okay, and I'm having the sniffles too. I'm recovering from a small flu, actually, from a cold. That's why. But yeah, actually I wanted to bring people on, but unfortunately I'm too tired to do this. I think and yeah, I do want to watch One Piece as well. So no, I'm not going to bring anyone on today. No one is going to be on the platform today. Unfortunately, I can't. Okay, I can't handle it either. So it won't be fair on you if I were tired and I was not listening and not paying any attention to you while you talk, and I'm too tired to actually listen to you, right? Okay, but before I go, brother Islamic calling is here. Walaikum salam. Yeah, unfortunately, we are already at the end of the live stream. Okay, so yeah, um, I'm really exhausted at the moment. Okay, I know I don't look like I'm exhausted, but I'm actually very much exhausted because I just came back from work and everything. But anyways, thank you very much for coming on to the live stream, listening to me babble. Right, I do appreciate your your presence, and I do hope that I'll see you again in a future live stream. So I guess until we see each other again, which hopefully will be this Sunday, inshallah, if nothing nothing happens that requires my attention. So hopefully, inshallah, it will be this Sunday, and I'll see you if when I see you, right? So, assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.